This is Elliot Eisenberg of Graphs and Laughs here to catch you up to date on the latest in residential sales data for Hillsborough County. In Hillsborough County, single-fam home prices declined by 0.8%. Conversely, on the multifam side, multifam home prices increased by 2.7% in Hillsborough. That was the best performance for multifam home prices across all three counties. Sales activity declined for both single and multifamily. For single, it declined 16.2%, and for multi, 9.8%. Similarly, pending sales declined 3% for single fam and 3.1% for multi. The 3.1% decline for multi was the best performance across multifamily for all three counties. Sales price as a function of list price declined for both single and multifamily. For single family, it declined to 97.5 from 98.4, whereas for multifamily, it declined to 96.9 to 97.9. Lastly, in terms of inventory, it increased dramatically in Hillsborough and Pasco and everywhere else for that matter. In Hillsborough County, it went up 83.3% year over year and now stands at 3.3 months of supply. Multifam inventories increased 115%, the largest increase in inventory across both types of properties and all three counties, and now sits at a 4.3 month supply. In Pasco County, single-fam home prices went up 3.8%. Multifam prices went up 1.2%. Pasco is the only county to have price increases for both single and multifamily. In terms of sales activity, on the single-fam side, it declined 8%, which was the smallest decline across all three counties in both types of properties, whereas multifamily sales activity declined a little more, 9.4%. That was the smallest decline for multifamily. In terms of pending sales activity, it fell 1.6% for single fam. That was the smallest decline across all three counties in both types of properties. Multifam pending sales activity declined 28.5%. In terms of sales price as a percentage of original listing price, it declined in both single and multifamily. In single family, it's now 97.3, down a year ago from 98.6. Similarly, for multifamily, it's 96.6, down a year ago from 97.7. Lastly, inventory increased in Pasco County dramatically as well. It rose 88.2% year over year and now stands at 3.2 months supply of inventory, whereas it went up 85% and now is at 3.7 months of supply of inventory for multifamily housing. In Pinellas County, single-fam home prices jumped 6.2% year over year, the best year-over-year performance for both types of properties across all three counties. Multifam prices declined 2.1%. Looking at sales activity, it declined for both single and multifamily. On the single-fam side, it declined 10.3%, and on the multifam side, it declined more, 28.6%. Pending sales also declined for single and multi, down 7.2% for single and down 10.9% for multifamily. Sales price as a function of list price also declined year over year. It's now, for the single fam, it's 96.1, down from 97.6, whereas for multifamily, it's 92.6, down from 96. These are large declines. Lastly, inventory increased substantially, up 111.1% to 3.8 months of supply of inventory on the single fam side, and up 106.7% to a large 6.2% of months of inventory on the multifam side. At 6.2 months supply of inventory, it's clearly a buyer's market, and I suspect that prices may well continue to decline. Turning our attention to the national economy, GDP in the second quarter of 2024 rose a shockingly large 2.8%, double the 1.4% in the first quarter of 24. That said, the reason for the increases were not all that good. It was primarily driven by increases in inventory and government spending, not permanent states of affairs that can continue. As a result of that, despite the shockingly good number, unemployment continued to rise during the second quarter and inflation fell. Unemployment is now up at 4.1%, up from a low of 3.4% in March or April of 2023. That's a relatively large increase. I'm getting a little nervous. As for inflation, it continues to fall, and that's pretty good news. And we see that in the data. We see that the 10-year Treasury over the last 3 months has fallen from 4.7 to 4.1, and the 30-year mortgage has fallen from 7.2 to 6.8. As a result of this, I expect there to be interest rate cuts. I expect there to be 2 interest rate cuts between now and the end of the year. How big and how maybe we might even get 3, but I'd be very surprised. I would stick with 2. When they happen, I suspect we get the first one at the September meeting of a 1/4 point, and I suspect that we get the second one in December of also a 1/4 point. It's possible we'll get a 1/2 point reduction in December, but it very much depends on what unemployment does between now and then and what inflation does between now and then. The last thing the Fed does is want to get burned the way it did in 21 and 22 when it said that inflation was going to be transitory and all those things, and they turned out to be wrong. They'd prefer to be late and be more accurate. That said, because they're willing to wait longer to cut interest rates, my biggest concern remains the possibility of a recession. That said, the American economy has been remarkably resilient and remarkably lucky, and as a result have kept recessionary pressures completely at bay. Let's hope it stays that way.